When it comes to cutting wood into curved profiles, the bandsaw is a tool to use. Now, let me show you the tips on how to tune it up. First, unplug the machine. It's really important that whenever you open a cover on a bandsaw, it's unplugged. Second, select a premium quality blade. A good blade makes a world of difference on a bandsaw. And there are really 4 steps in tuning up a bandsaw. The first thing that you want to do is adjust the thrust bearing and the guide blocks back away from the blade. Now what I can do is look at the blade on the center of the tire, and I use the tracking knob on the back of the machine. I unlock that, and I adjust the blade by moving the knob either away from me or towards me, and I spin the wheel by hand, and I get the blade tracking right on the center of the tire. For control, that's really important. If you're getting drifts in a cut and you can't follow your cut line, it's because the blade's not on the center of the tire or the blade's dull. You lock it in place on the center of the tire. You add some good tension. Look at the scale on the back of the bandsaw. You can see that as I twist the knob, the red line goes up and down to match the width of the blade on the scale setting. Sometimes it's necessary to go a little bit higher to put more tension on the blade for good results. Once it's tensioned properly, what I can do is adjust the guide blocks forward. These are metal blocks, so that the front edge of the guide block is right behind the valley between the teeth. That's called the gullet. And you lock that in position above and below the table. And then, you see this bearing? This is called the thrust bearing. You want to bring that forward so it's right behind the blade at rest, and then lock it in position just a hair behind the back edge of the blade. And those are the 4 steps in tuning up a bandsaw, and it will work like a violin, and you could do wonderful cuts. Now, there are 4 basic cuts you can make on a bandsaw. You can make any sweeping curve cut. In this case, the top curve of the rail for the bookcase project. Another thing you can do is use a resaw fence or a block of wood with clamps to cut thin slivers of wood for trim work. In this case, the side rails of the bookcase. Another thing that I can use the bandsaw for, I can do miter cuts by using a miter gauge and cross-cutting or mitering the ends of various workpieces of different thicknesses. And the bandsaw is the perfect tool to cut thicker workpieces that you can't cut on a table saw. Now, that's the A to Z on bandsaws. Be sure to use a good dust collector on it because it does produce quite a bit of dust. Now let's move on to the next tool.